Dear friends and fellows, in today's business, on every site, there are respiratory protective equipment. There are a number of breathing apparatus. But still, once there is any emergency scenario, most of the time we hear that the rescue staff or the workers, they become the victims. What is the reason? Because they are not able to use respiratory protective equipment effectively and safely. In the peacetime, they are not able to carry out different drills. They are not easy to use it. They are not aware what are the characteristics, what are the different prerequisites prior to use respiratory protective equipment. Today, we are discussing how to use respiratory protective equipment. It might be a power respirator. It might be a non-powered respirator. It might be a breathing apparatus, SCABA or CABA. Dear friends and fellows, for respiratory protective equipment to be effective, its use should be integrated into normal workplace activities. You need to make sure that control measures, including respiratory protective equipment, are properly used and are not made less effective by bad work practices, inadequate training, or improper use. Your employees need to use respiratory protective equipment in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, recommendations, and the training and instruction you provide. If breathing apparatus is not worn properly, it will not provide the required protection. It is often best, if possible, to give a choice of several adequate and suitable respiratory protective equipment to wearers so they can choose the one they find most comfortable. Hello and welcome. You are on the platform of Safety First. I'm your host, Javed. If you are new on this platform, please subscribe Safety First. Press the bell icon for all future notifications. And if you find the video informative, then like, comment, and share with your friends. Do you know the role of management and supervisory staff? Dear friends and fellows, employers are responsible for implementing and managing respiratory protective equipment selection and use, or delegating that responsibility to another trained person. Support can be provided by internal or external health and safety professionals. You should also ensure those wearing respiratory protective equipment, for example, SCABA or powered respirators, follow the measures you put in place. There are some key factors for user of respiratory protective equipment to remember. Users of tight-fitting face pieces should have passed a fit test for the particular respiratory protective equipment device they are using. Here, spectacles or other personal protective equipment can break the seal on tight-fitting face pieces, allowing the user to breathe in hazardous substances. The example of tight-fitting face pieces are breathing apparatus, valves on reusable respiratory protective equipment need to be maintained and replaced. In addition, users should remember that the respiratory protective equipment will only be effective if it is worn and used in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and recommendations. Users or wearers should check their respiratory protective equipment every time they use it. This is known as a pre-use check. The check will cover a variety of things, dependent on the type of respiratory protective equipment. So, users should follow the manufacturer's instructions. Common things to look out, and you have to make sure that the nose bridge on disposable respiratory protective equipment is adjusted to ensure a proper seal. All the straps are used, any hoses are connected properly, and battery powered respiratory protective equipment is fully charged. For respiratory protective equipment with tight fitting face pieces, the user should carry out a fit check or fit test of the seal when the device is first put on. For reusable masks, this can be done by placing a hand over the filter or inlet wall and breathing in. If there is good seal, the user will experience the mask sucking in toward their face. The wearer should hold their breath for 10 seconds and the face piece should not loosen. If it does, the face piece should be readjusted and the seal checked again. Do not use respiratory protective equipment if a good seal cannot be achieved. This is the way how you can carry out fit test. Dear friends and fellows, without proper training, it is not that easy to use respiratory protective equipment. All people involved in the selection, use, storage, and maintenance, they require proper training, and appropriate training program should cover the following areas: why respiratory protective equipment or breathing apparatus is needed, the hazards, risks, and effects of exposure, what respiratory protective equipment is being provided, how breathing apparatus works, why fit testing is required, how to wear and check the respiratory protective equipment correctly, fit checking before use, what maintenance is required and when, where and how it should be cleaned and stored, how to report and tackle the problems those are related to respiratory protective equipment, employee and employer responsibilities, and lastly, usage and the misuse of respiratory protective equipment. The wearer needs to be clean shaven around the face seal to achieve an effective fit when using tight fitting face pieces. Training is a good opportunity to make employees aware of this. If workers have beards or are unable to be clean shaven, a tight fitting device will not be suitable. So, an appropriate loose fitting device should be chosen. Your respiratory protective equipment supplier should provide information on the training required to use and maintain their products. Anybody selecting, using, or maintaining the respiratory protective equipment should be competent and trained. You should be able to demonstrate this by reference to records of appropriate training. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First, and today we are discussing about breathing apparatus, fit testing requirements, different types of non-powered, powered respiratory protective equipment, what you can do while you are using a breathing apparatus and what is not allowed in any case. If you are using respiratory protective equipment with tight fitting face pieces, you should make sure each wearer has a fit test. This is needed to ensure the selected face piece can fit the wearer correctly. You can use the fit test as a training opportunity, as it allows you to highlight to the wearer the consequences of poor fit and improper use on the effectiveness of the respiratory protective equipment device. It is also a good practice to have a system to ensure repeat fit testing is carried out on a regular basis. This is especially important when respiratory protective equipment is used frequently as a primary means of exposure control. For example, annual testing for workers involved in licensed asbestos removal. If there are any changes to a person's face through, for example, weight loss, weight gain, scars, etc., a repeat fit test will be necessary. It's also a good practice to designate areas where respiratory protective equipment is needed as respiratory protective equipment zones. This will make it clear where breathing apparatus is required. Remember, designation of respiratory protective equipment zones is mandatory in certain circumstances under the control of asbestos regulations 2012. Dear friends and fellows, this is an example of a reusable half mask respirator having three important parts: head strap, exhalation valve, and particle filter. Prior to use, you have to check all the items. If it is fit for use, then use it. If there is any damage, report to your supervisor. Don't use it. Let us learn now how to use non-powered respirators, what you can do and what you are not allowed to do. Dear friends and fellows, always ensure the respirator is in good working order before putting it on, even when new. Always use all the straps provided, making sure they are correctly positioned and adjusted. Follow the manufacturer's instructions and recommendations. Always fit two identical filters to a twin filter respirator. Always clean and store the respiratory protective equipment properly, paying special attention to the valves on reusable respiratory protective equipment. Change filters as instructed by the manufacturer and ensure the other PPE, personal protective equipment you need to wear, is compatible with the respirator. But never use non-powered respirators in oxygen deficient atmospheres. Never use a particle filter to protect against gases, vapors, or gas vapor only filters against particulates. And never use if dirty, damaged, or incomplete. This is an example of full face mask respirator. You must know the parts and how to use it. You can see on the left side, this is head harness. In the center, inner mask. On the right side, top visor. Below the visor, this is exhalation valve. And down below, this is gas vapor filter. You must inspect every part of full face mask respirators. If there is any damage, you have to report your supervisor or your safety practitioner. Don't use it. Dear friends and fellows, let us discuss now how to use powered respirators. Always ensure the respirator is in good working order before putting it on, even when new. Always use all the straps provided, making sure they are correctly positioned and adjusted. Follow the manufacturer's instructions and recommendations. Always check the fan is providing enough airflow before you use the device, that is powered respirators. Always fit identical filters to a multi-filter unit. Always change all the filters on a multi-filter unit together. Always clean and store the respiratory protective equipment properly, paying special attention to the valves. change filters as instructed by the manufacturer, and ensure the other personal protective equipment you need to wear is compatible with this respirator. But remember, never use powered respirators in oxygen deficient atmospheres. Never use particle only filters against gases or vapors, or gas vapor only filters against particulates. Never use if dirty, damaged, or incomplete, or if not providing enough air. And never keep working if the fan stops or the flow rate falls. Leave the work area immediately and inform your supervisor. Have a look. This is a breathing apparatus. Breathing apparatus have different parts. You can see in the photograph, highlighted with yellow: full face mask, demand valve, pressure gauge, medium pressure tube, body harness, and compressed air cylinder. Do you know how to use breathing apparatus effectively and safely? Always ensure the breathing apparatus is in good working order before putting it on, even when new. Always look after your supply hose. Your life may depend on it. Always use all the steps provided, making sure they are correctly positioned and adjusted. Follow the manufacturer's instructions and recommendations. Ensure an adequate clean air supply is available for all users. Ensure that the compressed air quality meets the minimum requirements of BS EN 12021. Always plan your exit from the contaminated area so you don't run out of air, and ensure the other personal protective equipment you need to wear is compatible with the breathing apparatus. Dear friends and fellows, remember, never place the breathing apparatus inlet hose near two potential sources of contamination. For example, vehicle exhaust. Never use the equipment without the waist belt. Never use a light duty airline hose where there is any potential for crashing by vehicles or passers-by. And never keep working if the airflow rate drops or any warning devices are activated. Leave the work area immediately and report to your immediate supervisor. After discussing the different types of respiratory protective equipment, let us understand now how to maintain respiratory protective equipment. There are 5 key points you should follow when carrying out respiratory protective equipment maintenance. Point number 1, follow the manufacturer's instructions. Point number 2, a competent person should carry out the work. Point number 3, keep records of the maintenance. Point number 4, ensure the intervals for maintenance are appropriate. And point number 5, the maintenance program should reflect the complexity of maintaining the respiratory protective equipment. Here the question is, what might be the maintenance tasks? Key maintenance tasks may include changing any replaceable filters, cleaning the device, valve maintenance and replacement, checking the straps for damage, checking the battery charge and flow rate for power devices. Filters only have a limited capacity or can become clogged, making breathing difficult. Replaceable filters should be changed when necessary to make sure the respiratory protective equipment device can remain effective and safe. As we discussed, filter changing is the part of maintenance. Let us discuss now the different types of filters. Those are used in different types of respiratory protective equipment. Dear friends and fellows, filters are classified in relation to the form of the hazardous substance. They can be used against either particles, gases, vapors, multi-gas, or combined particle and gas vapors. If the filter is also usable with the powered respirators, then they will also be marked TH, turbo hood, for hood devices, or TM, turbo mask, for mask devices. You should understand these terms, short forms and full forms. Particle filters don't trap gases or vapors or give any protection against oxygen deficient atmospheres. Gas vapor filters don't protect against particles or give any protection against oxygen deficient atmospheres. Remember that particle filters are not effective against mist or spray of organic solvents. Dear friends and fellows, let us discuss in detail about the filters. First of all, about particle filters. Particle filters are classified according to their efficiency. The filter or the face piece it is built into will be marked with the letter P for particulate or particle and a number to indicate efficiency or the level of protection provided. On the particle filters, you will find the word P1, P2 and P3. P1 for low efficiency, P2 for medium efficiency and P3 for high efficiency. Now, based on these filters, you have to understand what kind of your workplace is, what kind of hazardous substances you are using, and what is the right choice, safe choice for you to protect your workers from harm. Number two, gas vapor filters. Gas filters are designed to remove gases or vapors as specified by the manufacturer. Gas vapor filters are classified according to their capacity and the type of substance they can be used against. Their capacity refers to how much of the specified contaminant they can hold. Gas or vapor filters shall be marked as class 1, class 2 and class 3. Class 1 for low capacity, class 2 for medium capacity and class 3 for high capacity. In this case also you have to consider your workplace, your hazardous substances, your usage and the relevant maintenance or storage issues. Number 3, multi-gas filters. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First. Today we are discussing about different types of breathing operators. At present we are discussing about filters. A multi-gas filter is one that is suitable for more than one type of gas or vapor. These filters will be marked for the types of gases or vapors for which they are suitable. For example, A1B2 organic vapor filter with capacity class 1 and inorganic gases filter with capacity class 2. This is the way how the filters are marked, and you have to understand what is meaning by A1B2. Multi-gas filters are an option for employers who have different gases and vapors at their sites or at their workplaces. Multi-gas filters are more expensive to buy than single-type filters and tend to be heavier. Dear friends and fellows, I hope after this training session you are able to understand what is the function of filters, why there are different types of filters. These filters can be used against what kind of substances or hazardous materials, how many types of breathing operators, how to use breathing operators, what to do and what should never do. And that's all for now. Training session related to respiratory protective equipment or different types of breathing apparatus, their selection, usage, maintenance, and storage precautions is over now. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Hope to see you soon with the new HSC tutorial. Till then, very good luck and Allah Hafiz.